Hi everyone, here's what's bothering me today. So, of course, some Republicans like Mitt Romney are already making their play saying Americans didn't vote for Medicare for All or a Green New Deal, so the Democrats have to compromise with Republicans. Mitt Romney can gargle my entire ass. The fact of the matter is that progressives up and down the ballot won their races on the platforms that they themselves decided to support, which involved Medicare for All, electoral reform, gun control reform, and of course, healthcare reform. There is an appetite for this, but Mitt Romney is simply part of the establishment. And so already this sets in motion this, or rather not in motion, but it sets the stage rather for where to go from here. So where does the left go from here? Whether you're someone who believes that Biden was the accelerationist candidate or not, the fact of the matter is that if progressives still want to make progress and change, then the action plan continues to be what it has been so far. No matter who is in the White House or who is in control of our countries, be us American, Canadian, British, Australian, etc., we still need to pressure our politicians to do more on climate change, to do more to support your average working class person in a pandemic, do more to support people who are struggling because of financial costs, often related to healthcare of some kind. These are all things that need to be addressed, and they need to be the three big things because that is what's going to encapsulate the greatest body of support. This also comes just on top of the ongoing Black Lives Matter protests, and also the fact that some areas, like how Detroit's Black Lives Matter movement has actually started to gain some real traction and begin affecting policies in the various policing institutions in the greater Detroit area. So it once again becomes about the uphill battle from the grassroots at the bottom of the hill. And while that's a hell of a mountain with all these really big issues, it's important that you have to start with just a good idea. It has to start with something as simple as a factual statement. People are struggling, they need help. Whether that's black people, that's people affected by the pandemic, financially, like financial wise or health wise, people affected by climate change and the increasingly terrible natural disasters as a result of it. So people affected by wildfires, flooding, hurricanes. People need help, and they should receive help. That should be the core behind so much of what we do going forward, because that is really hard to argue against. People are struggling and they need help. Sure, politicians will decide how best to reframe that to fit their political narratives, including the self-destructive ones, but that core idea, that core concept is what needs to be taken going forward. Black people are struggling with police violence and police brutality. They need help. The planet is struggling with a climate crisis. Everyone needs help. People are struggling in a financial crisis due to a pandemic. They need financial help, mutual aid, support. It could just be food, it could be finances, whatever it is, they need help. People struggling for health reasons because you have to pay for healthcare in America. People need help. That is the core behind so much of what we as progressives do and claim to care about. And that is what we need to keep in mind moving forward. Are you going to get everything out of Joe Biden and the Democrats? No, because they're establishment Dems. But if you keep this message simple and clear, then people will still eventually turn on the Democrats and the Republicans and either ditch those parties or at least begin to really start pressuring them at the local level to enact change. And right now, that's probably the best we can hope for. Yes, it's good that Joe Biden won in the sense that it means no more 4 years of Trump, barring disaster. That ship hasn't sailed yet, and America is still in very dangerous waters at the moment. But in terms of where we go from here, we're still on course, as we always have been, to make the lives and the communities and our society around us better, fairer, and more equal for everyone within these communities. That just needs to be the message moving forward. And the fact that there are some people already trying to distract from this message or think that the message somehow doesn't apply or won't gain traction when it already has is what's bothering me today.